Picture this. You and your friends gathered around a table, laughing, having fun, rolling dice, and weaving stories of intrigue and adventure. Sounds pretty awesome, right? That's the magic of D&D. It's like stepping into your own fantasy novel, where the only limit is your imagination. But hey, I get it. Diving into the world of D&D can seem more than a little daunting. That's why I'm here to be your guide into the awesome world of Dungeons and Dragons. So first off, what is Dungeons and Dragons anyways? Maybe you've seen some clips on TikTok of people gathered around a table, rolling some dice and doing some funny voices. Maybe you watched some D&D play shows of Dimension 20 or Critical Role, or maybe you know nothing about it and you just want to try and get started. So what is D&D? Well, D&D in a nutshell is a tabletop role-playing game, where you and a group of people, hopefully your friends, create your own unique characters and embark on fantastical adventures and quests. Most commonly in a fantasy world, but that doesn't always have to be the case. But don't worry if that sounds a little bit scary, you don't have to come up with everything on your own. That's why when you play D&D, there's also a dungeon master, a DM, a person who will help guide you through the adventures and set the scene. They're basically the narrator, and they play every other character that isn't you, called NPCs. It's their job to set the scene, play the other NPCs, and be the overall arbiter of the table. And if that sounds interesting to you, I have a beginner's guide to DMing on my channel. But basically, you're playing your very own choose-your-own-adventure book, and the DM is kind of like the text, and you're the reader, if that makes any sense. Now trust me, I understand if this sounds very daunting. Most people, myself included, get super overwhelmed by the vast amount of lore and rules that you have to learn in the beginning. But just remember, it's okay to learn as you go. You don't have to know everything right off the bat to start playing. And speaking of playing, let's get started. Now, before we can jump right into the action, you'll need a few key things. This includes a set of dice. There's 7 in a set. And you didn't hear this from me, but if you don't want to buy dice, just look up a D&D dice generator on Google. Or if you're a literal dice goblin like me, you can go to your local game stores to buy a set. Or there's a ton of dice shops online where you can buy from. Be careful because, oh my gosh, I spend so much money on dice. I have a problem. I'm not even joking, I have such a problem. Next up, you kind of need to know a little bit of the rules for 5th edition D&D. Now, most people will tell you,
read the player's handbook,
which is a super helpful tool for sure, and you should read it eventually if you really want to go in depth. But if you don't want to spend the money on the book right now, literally just the internet or YouTube is an amazing tool to help you learn the basics. So I give you permission to go and watch YouTube, and maybe stick around my channel too, because I've got some helpful stuff here as well. The only thing I will say is don't get caught up trying to micromanage everything that you learn. D&D is a collaborative, improvisational game most of the time. And what's super cool about D&D is you can bend the rules sometimes. Crazy, I know. That's another reason why D&D is so much fun. Speaking of fun, now we've come to one of my favorite parts of D&D, creating a character. First off, you'll need a character sheet, which is what you'll be referring to when you're playing the game. You can literally just look up a blank D&D 5th edition character sheet. And then, like I said, check out some videos to help you fill it all in. Once you've done that, this is where you get to be creative. Do you want to play a brutish barbarian with a heart of gold? Or a cunning rogue who's only stealing to feed their family? Or maybe a studious wizard who flunked out of the mage college? The possibilities are literally endless. But I get it, it can be kind of anxiety-inducing if you've never roleplayed before, or if you've never created a character. So if you need a little bit more help with that, I also have a video on how to roleplay, how to make it easy for yourself. What I will say here though is be okay with embracing the unexpected and let your character grow with you. And last, but certainly not least, finding an actual group to start your adventure. I recommend trying to find a group at your local game store. I love in-person D&D. I think it's really valuable for new players to get to play in person, to roll those physical dice, get to see the maps, look at the minis, which is a little figurine that represents your character, and actually engage with your fellow adventurers. But I understand that some people aren't lucky enough to have a game store in their area, or maybe you're just feeling very anxious to do in-person stuff. There's also great online forums like Roll20, where you can find a group and get in a Discord server and just start playing online. And maybe if you don't want to do any of that with new people, start your own game with your friends. I started DMing because there was no DM in my area and I wanted to play D&D. And now I'm the forever DM, but that's a story for another time. I know it can be scary when you're a beginner to try and find people to play with, but I promise promise there are awesome beginner-friendly games and DMs who are more than happy to have you in a game and help you along the way. I actually have a Discord server that I'll link down below with some awesome people in there that I'm sure would be more than happy to help new people and give some advice for the game. There's a great community in there, not to brag, so check that out if you're interested. So before I leave you, remember this: D&D is more than just a game. It's an opportunity to be creative, make new friends, and go on fun adventures. The only limit is your imagination. So even though it feels a little daunting, don't be afraid to take that first step. The awesome world of Dungeons and Dragons awaits you. Well, I think I'm gonna leave it here for now. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to give me a like and subscribe if you enjoyed and found this helpful. I'm gonna be making more beginner's guides to D&D stuff, so stick around and check that out if you're interested. I'll leave a playlist somewhere on the screen for my do's and don'ts of D&D, which has some beginner D&D stuff in there. As well as if you really want to see what not to do, check out my RPG Reddit horror story videos, where you'll hear some pretty crazy D&D horror stories. But I promise all of those stories are few and far between. As well as if you like me and my content, think about becoming a YouTube channel member or sign up for my Patreon for as little as $1 a month, just that one. If you would like to become a Tavern patron, check out the links in my description below, as well as links to my other social medias down there. I post fun things on TikTok and Instagram, and you can become a Discord member, as well as I am a finalist for the Crit Awards for the best up-and-coming YouTube creator, which thank you so much, all of you who nominated me. But now it is time to vote. So the links are in the description below to vote for me, so hopefully I can win. And I'll be at Gen Con at the Crit Awards, so if you see me there, come say hi. Well, that's all for now. I will see you in the next one.